A lot of people stand before Steve Miller during the worst time in their life, but what many of them do not hear from the Rochester City Court judge is some harsh admonition. In my interview with him, we talked about his message from the bench.
What's going on with
Accountability. Judge Steve Miller must have used that word a dozen times during our interview. It's a word he lives by, a word he took through his childhood in the 19th Ward, through his legal studies at UB, and through his time in the DA's office. It's also a word he applies to the issue of poverty.
To let individuals know what they are able to do, not what their handicap may be. And I think that's key. A lot of what I went through growing up, and I wasn't poor, we were solidly middle class, but don't get me wrong, I wasn't around folk who had less than and more than me. But one of the key elements that I saw that will help all of us, no matter what station of life we were in, was the understanding of hope and that I can do it.
You had that belief of hope instilled in you. So my question is where you got it and how does someone get it if they don't have it?
Well, I was blessed. So my parents, particularly my mother, she was one who always instilled in me confidence that I can achieve, particularly academically. I had a wonderful experience at my alma mater, Wilson Magnet High School. Teachers there were extremely important in instilling their confidence in me. And I could name names, Mr. Osborne, Mr. Connell, Mr. Timpano. I could go on and on.
Do you approach the law with a black and white, here's the law, or do you apply compassion, or can it be mixed?
I had a gentleman today, I'll give an example, who had a bench warrant out for 2 years, did not come back to court for sentencing. At the time, he was in poverty. He qualified for the public defender's office. And in the 2-year period, he somehow bettered himself and received more than middle class wage. If I would have placed him in jail for a year, he would have lost that.
Miller couldn't comment on the Estacio story that's been hovering over Rochester City Court, but I did ask him how the remaining judges have been handling any extra work.
The caseload is there. We work hard, though. We value what we do as judges. We value the opportunity and the trust that what we say will solve a matter in the courtroom and not in the streets.
A responsibility that goes back to accountability. Your Honor, it was an honor. Side note, Miller was a member of the Wilson Magnet basketball team that went to the state championship in both 1985 and 1986 and won in 1986.